You're all good.
What else can you say about the New York Jets, Turtleboy? They are bad, even bad at being bad. They don't even know how to lose properly. I know you're happy. I know you're rooting for Trevor Lawrence to end up in Jacksonville, which is no fun at all. But that was comical, watching the Jets blow it, knowing that knowing all their fans, and they got lots of fans, and the fans are frustrated, but they just wanted one thing. They wanted to lose out. They wanted 0-16, and the Jets go out there, beat the Rams, who, by the way, beat your Patriots. And now the Jets are a long shot to land Trevor Lawrence. On Saturday, we got to see Trevor Lawrence maybe possibly steal the Heisman, which I didn't think was possible. But
no,
we got to see how damn good he is, and he is a generational talent. He's the most hyped number one pick since Peyton Manning. He's going to be great. He was all set to head to the Jets, to head to New York. All they had to do was lose their final 3 games, and they were big underdogs. They were 17-point underdogs yesterday. This is the biggest upset they've had since the Super Bowl with Joe Namath against Baltimore. The last time they won while being 17-point underdogs was whatever that was, 50 years ago. And now they have a 26% chance of landing Trevor Lawrence.
Now I know it's basically a certainty, but he didn't 100% confirm that he was going pro, right? Like
he did not. He did not.
I'm just saying. Maybe if the Jets did potentially get the spot, he would have said, "Maybe I'll stay back."
I hear that for people. There's no way he's coming out. He would have made it seem like a good thing. He's going to New York, and it's a challenge. And by the way, he'll have a new coach. They would even flirt with Dabo Sweeney, his college coach, and would do whatever it takes. But they would have gotten him. He's going pro. He's going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar. They have a 70% chance of getting him. The Jacksonville Jaguars have the Bears and the Colts. They can obviously lose them both. The Jets have the Browns and the Patriots. And
the Jaguars' one win is against the Colts, though, Jerry.
Yeah, well, you know what? I like this, though. I have to say, here's what you have going for you. If you're Adam Gase or whoever, who's the coach in Jacksonville?
Doug Marrone.
Doug Marrone, yeah, former Bills coach. If you're those guys, you have one advantage. You have a great rallying cry. If you're giving your pregame speech and you're Adam Gase yesterday, before that game, you say, everybody wants us to lose, including our own fans. The whole world is against you. Coaches love to play that disrespect. The world is against us card, even if they have to make it up. Well, this time they didn't have to make it up. He got to tell the truth. Everybody wants you to lose. Everybody wants to see us go winless, to see us go 0-16. What do you say, boys? And they played hard. I mean, they played hard. They had a lead, and it felt to me like they were going to blow it, and they didn't. They blew the pick. They didn't blow the game. They blew that pick. They're not getting Trevor Lawrence. And you know what? You think Sam Darnold stinks? They better get used to him, because Sam Darnold's their quarterback going forward. It was comical watching them blow this game.
I mean, they can't even tank, right, Jerry? I mean,
they had it all set up, man. All they had to do was lose their final 3, and they get the next Peyton Manning.
I mean, if we were in a division, the Patriots have no future right now. There's no plan. There's nothing. If we were in a division with Josh Allen, Tua, and Trevor Lawrence, we'd be in serious trouble for a number of years, Jerry. So this is a great day for Patriots fans.
It's true. You're right. Josh Allen's so good right now. I think he'll finish 3rd in the MVP voting. He can
win the MVP. And the way he's playing right now, he's got just as good an argument as Mahomes and Rodgers, in my opinion.
He looked great. I mean, he doesn't have the numbers they have, but he's just a perfect fit up there, and he's just a tough guy, and he's fun to watch. Tua, by the way, sucked yesterday. I mean, he wasn't as bad as Cam Newton, but he wasn't very good. He got the win. Miami beat the Patriots. The Patriots now have been eliminated from the playoffs for the first time since 2008. Since George Bush was in the White House. I mean, Obama just won, but Bush was still in the White House. The last time the Patriots missed the playoffs. they're going to end up with a losing record for the first time since pre-Brady, since 2000, since in 20 years.
You
And
don't think they're going to beat the Bills next week?
they got the right. No. And then, by the way, what if it all comes down to the Patriots Jets? Would Belichick find a way to lose to the Jets if it meant keeping Trevor Lawrence out of the division? Would he do that?
Absolutely.
You think he would? I don't.
100%. Wouldn't you?
I was sure, but he won't. He wouldn't. And by the way, he's not going to have to. He's off the hook. The Jets blew it. I mean, I think if you're Jacksonville, you know how important this is. I mean, you get the franchise quarterback you need, and what we see every day and every week is how important franchise quarterbacks are. They're everything. Everything. I mean, they mean everything. And here you have a chance, and they might draft Justin Fields anyway and get their quarterback and get rid of Sam Darnold anyway. But you watch, Trevor Lawrence is going to be great. He's going to be great. He is great. He's got everything. He's like the prototype. The Colts have tanked. They tanked a couple of times. Let's be honest. They tanked. They got Peyton Manning, and then they got Andrew Luck. I mean, he quit, but they knew what they were doing. They lost on purpose. It was the most blatant tank job ever when they gave it up for luck, or what was the term, suck for luck, when they suck for luck. It's not that hard. All you got to do is lose games.
Yeah, but the problem is that in the NFL, unlike really any, like all the players are playing for their contracts next year. They're playing for things. The coach is playing for his job. There's no incentive for anybody on the team that year to lose because they're probably not going to be on the team next year.
Right. I know. If you're firing the coach, and they are, it's true. There's nobody in that locker room who wants Trevor Lawrence. They probably like Sam Darnold too. They probably think, we're good. We got our quarterback. He's a good guy. They probably think, we don't need that first pick. And this gives them real incentive to go out and play their ass off. I mean, they'll probably finish 1-15. 1-15 is not going to be good enough. And which brings me back to, the tank for Trevor talk, where people in the offseason or early in this season in New England said they should tank, they should get the top pick. And I'm saying, do you realize how hard that is to do? You got to win one game, at most 2 games. I did it. In the last 10 years, I think it was 10 years I did, the average wins for the team that got the top pick was like 1.3. If you win twice, you blow your chance to get the top pick. And people thought Belichick was going to do that, was going to go 1-15 or 0-16. The Jets are going to go 1-15 and not get the top pick. They don't even know how to suck. That's how bad it is to be a Jets fan. Your team doesn't even know how to suck properly.
I don't think we thought Belichick would pull that. But I don't think we thought, as I say it, Belichick would pull that. But I don't think anybody thought they'd be as competitive per se. Like you know what I mean? Like we're just in no man's land. We were competitive every game.
You're totally in no man's land. And you know what? You're gonna if the Jets. I mean, clearly the Jets are, like I said, 26% chance of getting that pick. But if they did, you'd be going against Trevor Lawrence, Tua, and Josh Allen for the next 10, 12 years.
Josh Allen is going to be a problem, Jerry. He's so freaking, like, he makes something. He's so fun to watch too. The Bills are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Trust me. They're going to win the Super Bowl.
You're going to pick the Bills, and I have to trust you. They're going to beat Kansas City. The AFC Championship game will be better than the Super Bowl.
Wouldn't it be so fitting the one year the Bills win the Super Bowl is the year that none of their fans can go to the games?
Right. Well, none of their fans. Andrew Cuomo says he's going to go if they make the Super Bowl. Yes, Andrew Cuomo announced he wants to go there, be there for his team. Is that not the height of just gall? This asshole saying, "I'm going to go. I want to attend a Bills game. I've attended them in the past," he said. This is just incredible. You almost sense the energy and the optimism and the confidence the way they played Saturday. And Josh Allen was unbelievable. This is Andrew Cuomo. The guy who shut down New York. I don't know if he's the most hated governor in the United States, but he's got to be, top 3.
Without him, there would be no NFL this year.
Here's what I think about this all the time, mostly watching college games, like watching Saturday. They weren't great games, but watching Clemson, Notre Dame, Alabama. There were a lot of people, millions of people who were saying, shut it all down. You can't play. You can't take a chance. And I'm thinking, I don't care how many games get canceled or guys get sidelined or games that have to be played in empty stadiums. There's no argument now. I mean, when you look back, they did not have a good argument against it. It was just more, panic porn. Let's not do this because somebody might get sick. Well, now looking back, how absurd was it how absurd is it that they canceled lots of college football games?
And who saved college football, Jerry?
Who saved college football? I would say the SEC, Donald Trump.
The South and Donald Trump.
Clay Travis organized.
And Donald Trump invited Kevin Warren to the White House, by the way, for a summit to get the Big Ten to play again. Like, he was leading that charge to get the Big Ten to play. The Big Ten plays, the Pac-12 just copies them. But yes, the SEC set this tone. Thank God for the South. Thank God for the red states. Without them, they pressured the Big Ten, because if you're Justin Field in Ohio State and you're watching Trevor Lawrence play, you're like, why can't we play?
He started it. Remember, he and a few other players started the "Let Us Play" campaign, the hashtag. But the problem was that it's the problem they often have is the media, the sports media, is as woke as the political media. I mean, ESPN is every bit as liberal, as radical as MSNBC or CNN, and everybody on ESPN was rooting against the return of not just college football, but the NFL. They wanted, as I've said many, many times, including this weekend, they were rooting for the virus. They were rooting for the virus to wreak havoc on college football. They were rooting for football to be canceled in any way possible. And every time, a team, you can go back and look on Twitter, a lot of these, these woke ESPN types and, these around the horn guys, they would tweet out every time a team would have a positive test. They'd say, "Oh, here it is. You can't play."
Two of the college football's biggest stars, Nick Saban and Trevor Lawrence, both got coronavirus during the year, and yet they survived.
Yes,
the sport survived. They personally survived. It's really not that big of a deal. What are we hiding from?
It truly. I mean, hell, I look at it this way, Turtleboy. Harvey Weinstein survived. Chris Christie survived. Rudy Giuliani survived.
Can I rant about him for just a moment? Did you see that stupid video telling people, guys, I thought I shouldn't take my mask off. I was on a ventilator. You guys shouldn't wear a mask. Time out. Why are we being lectured about morbidly obese troglodytes by Chris Christie telling me to wear a mask? How about I tell you, Chris Christie, you wouldn't have ended up on a ventilator if you hadn't eaten Big Macs for 20 years straight. Why are we being lectured about health from fat people? I can't, enough of it. I'm so sick of it.
It is maddening listening to someone like Chris Christie tell us, well, first of all, you're allowed to take the mask off while you eat, which means
that's going to be a problem for Christie.
Which means Christie never wore a mask. So, I mean, his situation's a little different from ours. But I'm going to get to the warnings and the examples our politicians are setting, because I don't know if you heard, but the vaccine has been rolled out, and I think we're seeing lots of great examples of people who are unafraid to take it. But I'll get to that. First, I want to look at what Tom Brady did yesterday. First of all, the Patriots again eliminated from the playoffs for the first time in 2008. Brady was asked about it and didn't say anything. He just said, "That's their business. I got my business." I just looked at this. Tom Brady was down 17-0 at the half. You saw that score, and then you saw who he was losing to, the Atlanta Falcons, and just kind of chuckled. The Falcons are the biggest loser. The Jets aren't as big a losers as the Falcons. Would you agree with that? The Falcons are pathetic.
Because the Falcons are good from time to time, and the Jets, when they're bad, they're as bad as it gets. At least they know how to do it right.
Right, they're a laughingstock. The Falcons are up 17-0. They blow it. Tom Brady in the second half yesterday threw for 320 yards in the second half. I believe that's about what Cam Newton's thrown for the season. But we said,
is that more or less than what he did in the second half of the Super Bowl?
That's a good question. It's got to be less, because it's a record. I was just looking at the. He set all kinds of records. He threw for 320 yards, the most in a half by a Tampa quarterback in 30 years. I don't know why that matters. It's the most by any quarterback in the second half this season. He's 2 touchdowns from breaking the team record for touchdown passes. He's 9-5. He's heading to the playoffs. He looked great, obviously, in the second half yesterday. And in New England, we heard, I think it was, I don't know, 6-7 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, people said,
Become a pioneer.
what are you playing?
Oh, sorry. It was one of those ESPN auto ads came up. I'm trying to read Tom Brady's stats, and ESPN does.
I just read them to you, but
I'm trying to compare this year to previous years for Brady. I'm wondering how this ranks in his career, his stats this year, because he's like.
It's. I mean, obviously, he's had some years. Obviously, when he had 50 touchdown passes, or he's won, the unanimous MVP, I believe, in 2010 or 11. I mean, he's had spectacular years, but he's 43, and he's. I mean, they were marveling at Larry Fitzgerald yesterday. Got a touchdown pass at 37. He's 6 years older than Larry Fitzgerald. It's remarkable.
37. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know it is, because he takes hits too. I mean, all receivers take hits. It's amazing he's lasted this long. I'm not sure.
With one team.
Right, with one.
Right.
With
the Patriots like 10 years ago.
And that's true. That's true. And he's playing with DeAndre Hopkins now, but and he's kind of getting overshadowed. But Brady's second half, 320 yards, leads him to the win. He's going to lead them to the playoffs. They play Atlanta again, by the way, in the last game. And I don't know if it'll matter, but they'll embarrass Atlanta again. Atlanta's so pathetic. But I think it was 2 months ago, Turtleboy and Dave, we heard people say, wow, Belichick did it again. I probably said it, did it again, because Cam Newton had like a good game. He had a great game against Seattle in defeat. So what was the rest of the NFL thinking? They let him go to New England for no money, like punter money. Now do we know what the rest of the NFL saw when they looked at Cam Newton?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he has the worst touch on short passes I think I've ever seen, like for a starting quarterback, obviously. There's backups and third stringers, and that guy that
looks like a rookie. He looks like he's got no NFL experience. Just the decisions that he makes and stuff like a grizzled NFL veteran makes good decisions. They understand the game. They know when to get rid of the ball. Cam Newton looks like literally a rookie who's playing his first game every game.
And he had plenty of time in the pocket. I think they had 2 sacks, but both of them where he was when he was holding onto the ball too long. The Dolphins didn't have any great pass rusher putting pressure on him. He just held the ball. You're right. He doesn't make quick decisions. And when he throws like off in the flat or dumps it off to a back, it's never accurate. The backs don't catch it in stride. It's behind them, it's below them, it's up here, it's down there. That's a recipe. I mean, you can't do that in the NFL. You can't make slow decisions. You have to make quick decisions, and you can't be inaccurate or you get your guys killed. And that's what he does. He looks terrible. If it weren't, there's a
chance if they finally give Stidham the start, right, to end the season, which they absolutely should. He may not even be a backup next year. He'd be lucky to get a backup job.
He will, but he'll have to wait again till July and get a job backing up, somebody second stringer. That's it. Nobody's looking at Cam Newton and say that's our starter. There's so many good young quarterbacks, and the Patriots are on the outside looking in, because Stidham, I mean, we don't think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback, do we? I mean, if he were showing signs,
but we're pissed we didn't give him any opportunities now, knowing obviously what the season looks like.
He can't be worse than Newton. Is he worse than Newton?
Can't be.
No, nobody's worse than Cam Newton when it comes to throwing. And by the way, Jerry, Tom Brady this year has already surpassed touchdowns on the Patriots since 2015. He's already had more touchdowns in 14 games this year for the Bucs than he has had in any year with the Patriots since 2015.
Yeah, good news for Tom Brady. He's going to the Pro Bowl this year. He's going to make the Pro Bowl, which I'm sure he's very excited about. But it is, and you know what? It's all going to end, and it's going to he's not going to play forever. Maybe he'll be 45, but eventually it'll end. But right now, he's amazing. He threw a couple deep balls. Obviously, he hit Antonio Brown in stride for a deep touchdown.
Who's not happy for Antonio Brown today? Welcome back. What a great day. What a great day.
He sucks. I can't stand looking at Antonio Brown. But when you look at Brady, you say, they let him go. They made a decision. They let him become a free agent. They granted him free agency. It just said, you can leave now. Thanks for the 20 years. And I know 20 years is the fluke. You don't get guys to stay for 20 years. But what sense does it make looking back that they let Brady just walk out the door? It doesn't make sense at all. They didn't replace him. They got a lousy starting
I don't
quarterback.
know why they did. Why? You were the one that led the charge.
I did no such thing.
Roll the tape. It was the day after the Patriots lost. You're like, we gotta get rid of Tom. We can't have Tom Brady as our quarterback next year.
What?
Yeah, he's not the plan. We need to replace him. You said that. He's not going to be back in New England. You heard it here.
You were certainly not in the keep Tom Brady. Like, you weren't leading that charge. You were kind of wishy-washy. You were like, the guy's old. He's going to get hurt. This is done. You know,
that was. He is. I mean, I thought they would replace him. I mean, I thought there would be some decent replacement. I was thinking a guy like Teddy Bridgewater would be here. Someone, who could play. I didn't think it would be Cam Newton, but I didn't lead the charge. Here's what they did. They just said, he's been a great soldier, a good soldier. He's been wonderful. So Kraft and Belichick said, let's let him leave. It's strange when you think back. Just let him leave. And, he brought.
He wanted to prove he could win without Tom Brady, and clearly it didn't go up. The problem with that is you have to surround. You can't let everybody else go. Like the whole team went to Miami, right. Detroit, all of our best players, and Gilmore's 30. He's pretty much done now, I would think. Edelman's done. We got nothing. There's no plan.
He can't win without Tom Brady. However, he was competitive with Cam Newton, who looks like the worst quarterback in the history of the game.
He's pretty bad.
Competitive. Like, if you put Teddy Bridgewater there, where are we right now?
I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, you're 6-8, which it's hard to believe 6-8 after watching yesterday. But I guess, I don't know, 7-7. You're not eliminated yet if you have Teddy Bridgewater.
I think they'd be 6. They would have won the Denver game and probably could have picked up one more win in there somewhere.
So it's a good question. Where would you be with a half-decent quarterback? God knows you don't have one, and you're not going to have one next year, and the Bills will have one, and the Dolphins will have one, I think, although Tua did not impress me yesterday. Dolphins apparently have a good coach. When you look at that team, they're what, 9-5 now? They're 9-5. Maybe finally the Belichick coaching tree has produced a decent head coach in Brian Flores. It's hard to believe that team that we saw yesterday with that quarterback is 9-5, but they are, and they beat up on the Patriots. I'm looking at the
is he coach of the year this year?
Coach of the year this year. I don't know.
Got to be up there.
Haven't given it a lot of thought.
Didn't the Dolphins last year start like 0-10? They were the joke of the league last year. They were a contention to get the number 1 pick, and then he went on a streak at the end of the year with some Fitzmagic, and I think they ended up like 5-11. And it's like, oh man, maybe this team has some moxie, maybe this team has some mojo. And clearly they do. And they went out, they poached all of our best defensive players. They got Van Noy. Didn't they get that fat guy Danny Shelton?
Landon Roberts and Eric Rowe, and sure, we'll give it to Brian Flores, even though he made that stupid commercial before the first game about Black Lives Matter, one of these Black Lives Matter commercials that he was involved in himself as the head coach. Was a little strange. I'm looking at the numbers. We should look at these every week just to marvel at how unproductive Cam Newton has. 5 touchdown passes in 13 games, 5 touchdown passes, 10 picks. He's trailing Aaron Rodgers by 35. Aaron Rodgers has 40. Russell Wilson has 37. Tom Brady has 32. And Cam Newton has 5 touchdown passes.
That's insane. Has that ever done anything close to that?
That is so bad. He is. He is.
Job. That's crazy. Crazy.
He's 36th in the league. The league has 32 teams, and he ranks 36th in touchdown passes. He has a 79.6 rating, 10 picks, like I said, 2,300 yards, which is about what Brady threw for yesterday. It's been a mistake, but you know what? He is a snappy dresser, snazzy, jazzy dresser, and he wears funny hats. And he apparently gives good interviews, so everyone's happy about that. He won't be back. You'll see him for 2 more games, and that'll be it. The Cam Newton era will be over. I hope everyone enjoyed it, but and the Patriots will not be in position to get either. Obviously not Trevor Lawrence.
Bill Belichick has been dicking around in the draft since the beginning of time, and he's been bailed out by Tom Brady time and time again. He drafts long snappers in the 5th round. He drafted a kicker last year in the 5th round who didn't even make the goddamn team.
Oh, that's right.
Sony Michel
Which
first.
was good because he had a tattoo of an American flag, and I hate
Right.
those kind of guys. I was glad.
He also can't kick, so that's a problem too.
Yeah,
okay?
that is.
Somehow Nick Folk, by the way, arguably the Patriots MVP this year. He scored all of our points yesterday. He's been so
You're
consistent.
forgetting, Turtleboy, come on, you're forgetting about the punter. Let's go. The punter, here's your MVP race in New England. Team MVP, the punter and the kicker, in either order. Those are your two most valuable Patriots. That's what kind of year it's been. But at least the Jets lost. See, I was pissed. I wanted the Jets to get Trevor Lawrence. I think he'd be fun in New York just to see if he could survive the meat grinder in New York and bring that team back from whatever, 0-16. But it ain't going to happen. They blew it. They're stuck with Sam Darnold and Joe Flacco and whoever the coach is going to be. I don't know. But I guess that was your only good news if you're a New England Patriot fan, because Josh Allen is going to be around for a while. He loves it there. They love him there. He's big and strong and tough as hell.
Yeah, you know what? I was just going to say that. You know who doesn't give a shit about a COVID right now? And I said this is the worst year to be good at football. How about the thousands of fans who lined up at the airport to see Josh Allen after the AFC East?
It was at 2 in the morning. They were at the airport, and it was like 10 degrees, and it was amazing. I don't know how you can not like the Bills, not appreciate the Bills. I'm rooting for Bills. I'm with you. Let's root for the Bills. You want to make the Bills our team, Turtle?
Yeah, absolutely.
I should hate the Bills more than anybody. They literally ruined my teaching career, drove me out of business, forced me into blogging, and I still like them.
Why, you bet on them? Why did they ruin?
You don't know the Turtleboy backstory, Jerry?
Yeah, you got to go. You got to go into the deep cuts, Jerry. You got to get back there. Come on.
There would be no Turtleboy without the Buffalo Bills and what those people did to me. And I still kind of hate them, but I kind of love them at the same time.
Okay, good. So we'll all root for the Bills. Bills Chiefs in the AFC title game. It'll be awesome, and that'll be unfortunately probably in Kansas City, and only one team gets a bye. So the Bills are gonna have to win 3 playoff games to get to the Super Bowl, which is too bad, but they're up for it. And Josh Allen is just, you're right. He's great to watch, but so's Mahomes. There's some great young quarterbacks. We just don't have one in New England. All right, we got to move on because I got to tell you why I'm decided to get the vaccine. But first, we want to tell you that we're on Facebook Live right now, and as usual, Turtleboy's distracted looking at the comments. You're like Dale Arnold, always looking at the text line. You're looking at the comments, reading the comments, because half of them are your people. The Turtle Riders always show up on Facebook. But Cullinane wants me to tell you that we're not going to do this forever, folks. If you want to listen, you're going to have to subscribe. You're going to have to get on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and all the places you get your podcasts and subscribe. We're going to have some video component, but it ain't going to be Facebook Live forever, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we don't know yet. So there's going to be some good news. I'm teasing your good news, Jerry, but you're going to have some good news in the very near future, and we don't know what that means for the live portion of this podcast, on any platform, to be honest with you. So if you are watching this on Facebook Live or watching this on YouTube, get into the Apple Store, get into Spotify, and subscribe to this podcast, because next Monday we will not be streaming live here. That's my announcement.
The Apple Store, like the store at the mall, that's where you want them to go?
Whatever. The Apple Podcast. Go subscribe at the Apple Podcast app or Spotify. Yes.
Good. Because that Apple Store is crowded right now, man.
You can't. I was there on Friday. You have to make an appointment for everything. Literally, you can't just go in and buy an iPad if you want. You have to have an appointment. It's horrific experience.
Yes. I mean, when I finally joined with the looters, that's the place I'm starting, the Apple Store. Wouldn't you say, if you were going to loot, wouldn't that be your first choice, to go to the Apple Store?
Oh, I mean, it's probably the most expensive items in such a close vicinity. Like,
I do it because it's the store that, you have to make an appointment at, so you never know when you're going to get in there next. So you might as well loot it.
I mean, if you looted a jewelry store, I feel like everything would be locked down. You wouldn't be able to get the good watches.
And you can go into a jewelry store anytime and buy jewelry. Yeah,
but you could accidentally buy one of those stupid heart pendants that actually only cost like $100 versus Apple, where your minimum right out the gate is you're looking at $250 worth of merch minimum at Apple.
Although if you steal a phone, don't you have to get service? What do you bring it into some other store and say, I need service for my phone I just stole?
Yeah, you can figure out a way around that. Yeah, that's not a big deal. Yeah.
But we're not going to loop because, our guy, what Joe Biden wants, so there'll be no more looting, and we're all getting the vaccine, so there'll be no more virus. And I got to be honest with you, Turtleboy, I was nervous about this vaccine. I didn't know what was in it. I didn't know, exactly how it worked. And I said, gee, when they come knocking and say, you ready for the vaccine? I wasn't sure I was going to take it. But now that AOC told me it's safe, I feel like it's safe for her, it's safe for me. And I was happy to see a 31-year-old, thin, healthy woman at the front of the line for the vaccines. Can we be honest right here? And can I tell you, in the year that we've been doing this, in the 10 months that we've been locked down, and through all the insane overreaction from our governors and mayors and political establishment, I don't think I've ever been as pissed as I was this weekend watching these self-serving hacks in Washington celebrate the fact that they got vaccinated when there are literally tens of millions of senior citizens in nursing homes. And this is how my mind works, my brain works, is I see AOC or Marco Rubio or Ed Markey getting the vaccine, giving the thumbs up, celebrating. I think of World War II vets, because there's still lots of them out there, obviously dying every day, but there are nursing homes with World War II vets. I think of the guy, I used to talk to this guy when I'd visit my mother in the nursing home, and his name was Joe. And he was a World War II vet who survived Normandy. And I just found it, and I told him on the 75th anniversary of Normandy, I said, big day today, Joe. And it's anniversary of the invasion of Normandy. And he said, wow, has it been 50 years? And I said, 70. And he started crying. He couldn't believe that he was that old. It was very sad. And he just looked and walked away. And I think of him and him sitting in a room trapped, no visitors, no life, no nothing. And he has to wait while AOC gets a vaccine. Could someone help me out and explain this? I know I tweeted about it, and I know I had lots of reaction from people saying, oh, she's showing everyone it's safe. Is there really one American, single American out there who feels differently about the vaccine, whose mind was put at ease because AOC got the injection?
Yeah, I don't think her followers are the ones that are hesitant about the vaccine in the first place. And by the way, you know that, like, based on your race, you can go to the front of the line? I did not know to get the vaccine.
Correct. I tweeted about that too. They want to, there's powerful people, political people, who want to do this partially based on race. There's a Harvard professor who was quoted all over the place. I can get the name, who said we must give it preference to brown and black people. Everyone else says brown and black people.
Yeah, no.
Because it will level the playing field. That's what he said. It will level the playing field. In other words, we'll get more white people to die.
Well, no, because the virus is racist, Jerry. It picks on brown and black people, and it goes after them, so they're more susceptible to it. So we have to protect them first. Although I feel like, what about systemic racism? Wouldn't that prevent this from happening? If you get the color of your skin? What?
As I've said, we don't have systemic racism. We have the opposite. We have a system designed to, quote, level the playing field. We have a system that gives preference in many ways. We know about affirmative action. We've seen it in action in the federal government and at the state level. We have the opposite of systemic racism. We have systemic anti-racism. But anyway, beyond that this is the biggest, I don't say the biggest lie. It is a big, big lie. These people, these vile people, on Friday, I believe it was Liz Warren and Ed Markey, which set me off. But they're old, at least. And Liz, we want to give preference to Native Americans. So Liz got to the front of the line.
Reparations.
And they say, oh, no. And they try to make it seem not that they're being selfish or being hypocritical. These are people who said, for the most part, they wouldn't trust the vaccine. When Trump was promising a vaccine, they wouldn't trust it. Andrew Cuomo said, no, I won't trust it. I won't take it. Joe Biden said it. Kamala Harris said it. They would not trust a vaccine if Donald Trump was the one pushing it, spearheading it. And now they are fighting with each other to get to the front of the line to get the injection. But it is such a lie when they get this and people said, what the hell are you doing in the front of the line? They said, oh, we just want to show everyone to rest assured, ease your mind, don't worry, look, it's safe. There's not a single American who's looking at AOC or even Ed Markey or Marco Rubio and saying, gee, I was really going to, resist. But now that they did it, I'm going to do it. There are people this Christmas, there are tens of millions of elderly people trapped in nursing homes and assisted living facilities who can't see their family. But AOC can give you the double thumbs up and tweet or send a message to her 8.2 million Instagram followers that the vaccine is safe. And we're supposed to think that's noble. I'm not
getting it. I saw it, Jerry. I saw Marco Rubio and her get it. I'm not getting it because you know why? I'm not scared of coronavirus.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
You shouldn't. I mean, she's 31.
I'm not scared of coronavirus. Like, so why would I don't get vaccines for the cold, right? Like, I'm not the least bit scared of getting coronavirus. And if you want to get it to protect yourself, go for it. But I don't, it's just literally a waste of my time. Like, I'm going to take time out of my day to go get a vaccine for what? To prevent myself from getting COVID? Oh, no.
Explain to me, can you help me with this? I've asked this about masks. If you're wearing a mask, why do you care if I'm wearing a mask? If you're protected, what's it matter to you whether I do it?
No, Jerry, there's a meme. There's a meme that they pass around and they show two people, one without a mask and the other with the mask, and they say 65%, and then they put them both on and it's 5%. You didn't see the meme, Jerry? You learned the memes now.
Okay, I've moved on from that. Now I want to know is if you get the vaccine, why is it so important to you if I get it? Why do we have talk of mandatory vaccines? We say that about measles or whatever, smallpox for children, but children aren't susceptible to this. They don't get the virus very often, and they don't give it, which is why schools should have never closed in the first place. The idea that some schools are still closed.
All schools are closed. What schools are open?
It's so bizarre. They're down south, they're all open. Are you kidding? Florida, they're all open. The idea that schools are still closed is so insane and so wrong and so obscene that the teachers union has that kind of control that they can shut down schools, keep them closed.
Okay, blame it on the teachers union, Jerry, and I shit on the teachers union.
It's all their fault. Well, it's the fault. You're right. It's the fault of the politicians, cowards like Joe Biden.
Your local school board and your local health department. They're more to blame because ultimately the teachers union doesn't vote whether or not we're going to have school. Your local school committee does.
They vote whether they're going to go back. But you're right. But you're right. Right. The teachers union, they're a bunch of liars, and they say they're concerned about the health of their members when they know that it's not a big risk, especially if they're
But it's your school board's job to stand up to the teachers union. Correct. They are supposed to be the adversary to the teachers union. They bargain the contracts with them. They are supposed to be on the opposite end, and they're supposed to meet in the middle somewhere. Instead, they are just bowing down to them. So this is why it's really everybody votes in the Donald Trump elections. But in your local municipal elections, you'll see 15% turnout because nobody cares who's on your school committee in your town. You probably couldn't even name the people. And guess what? It's affecting you for the first time in your life. So vote in local elections. It affects you a lot more than whoever the hell the president is. I hate to say it.
Did you see the meeting? It was a school committee meeting in Falls Church. I
did.
And they had there was a bunch of people on it. I don't know how big the school committee is, but there was 15, 18, and maybe 20 people, and they were all crazy radicals. And schools are closed. Kids are at home in front of their screens, or they're doing drugs or drinking or whatever, getting beaten up by their abusive stepfathers or whatever. They're home. They're not going to school. The meeting was all about taking the name off of Thomas Jefferson High and George Mason elementaries, taking the names of Thomas Jefferson and George Mason off schools, and it was unanimous. There was no disagreement. They all just said, yes, this is what we have to do. And then I'm sitting there going, wait a second, your kids aren't even in school, and you're taking the names off the schools. Why would that even matter? There's nobody in the damn school right now. But that's the kind of insane people who are on the school boards. And you're right. people have got to vote and got to wake up and got to see these people, the true colors of these people. They're radicals in many of these places. And again, teachers unions are completely corrupt. They are lying to people, saying, no, it wouldn't be safe to go back to schools. By the way, Joe Biden, and I've said this before, he wants people back in schools yet, but he says we need more money. It costs money to open the schools. I thought it just took like a key. Maybe they turn the heat on and let everyone go. More money.
The thing about the teachers' unions, Jerry, is they have no power. I was in one. There's no power in a teachers' union. It's easy to steamroll a teachers' union. You just tell them we're going back to school, and you know what they're going to do, Jerry? They're all going to go back. They're not like cops. They're not like people that are going to put up a big. Remember when we got rid of about 10 years ago when I think Deval Patrick was governor, he passed a new thing where cops don't have to do the details anymore. There was mass revolt. We were going to bring in flagmen. There was mass revolt around police departments. They literally made sure that they diverted people in the wrong way just to mess with people a little bit. That's what cops do because they have a real union. Teachers union, they're all talk. You can just push them around. They'll do whatever you want.
I mean, you don't know that. You don't know. I mean, they're all.
They have no thugs. They got no thugs. You need thugs to be a union.
Yeah,
what thugs do they have? Mary, you have some chick from Concord named Mary. She's
But you're talking about whatever, your own local. I'm talking about Chicago, Los Angeles, New York. We're talking big city police unions teachers unions who are refusing to go to work. But
the Chicago Teachers Union. It's the same thing, Jerry. It's a bunch of frail old women. These aren't real unions. You can push them around.
Okay, I don't care. I don't want to get into that right now. I want to get back to the vaccine because Turtleboy's not taking it, and I'm glad to hear you don't think it's some kind of mind control thing that the vaccine is going to turn us all, some kind of conspiracy.
I'm not QAnon. Right. However, Andrew Yang tweeted this weekend is freaking insane about how should there be chips for the vaccine?
Yes, and they want. Obviously, you have to continue to wear a mask after you get vaccinated because I don't know why, but you have to continue to wear masks. And there were some people, obviously this is full-time panic porn on CNN and MSNBC. They want you to have some sign on your mask that shows that you get vaccinated, like a V, And I'm thinking, why not gold stars? You just put a gold star on your jacket, or put a letter and tattoo letter on. I mean, it is insane. You're right. Andrew Yang and people like Shattuck think Andrew Yang is awesome because he's weird. But he wants there to be a way to identify people who've been vaccinated, identify them, and that way you'll know who got vaccinated, who didn't.
Can I read a tweet that says, "Is there a way for someone to easily show that they've been vaccinated, like a barcode they can download to their phone? There ought to be." This is you're going to go around. Can you show me your barcode, sir, before you come in here to make sure that you're vaccinated? That's insane.
We're going to be talking about this year and the effects it's had on people for the rest of our lives, at least the rest of my life, and it is frightening. But I want to get back to AOC and Ed Markey and Liz Warren and Marco Rubio and the rest of these self-serving hacks who not only they want to be in the front of the line and get the vaccine, but they wanted credit for it. Look at me. I'm showing everyone it's safe. Well, how about you? If any of them had any dignity, any self-respect, they would have stood up in front of the cameras and said, I'm not getting the vaccine because that vaccine that's in that needle right there could go to a World War II vet. They could go to some grandmother who hasn't seen her grandchildren in 10 months. It could go to somebody who's actually at risk. Why the hell is a 31-year-old?
That's a good point. Wouldn't it be better if AOC had just brought in some elderly people from her district and had them get vaccinated on camera? Wouldn't that have been just as effective?
Yeah, I can see using her social media following to drive, some kind of narrative around this, right?
Yeah, why not use her social media to have herself overseeing more vulnerable people get the vaccine?
Yeah, I'm with you. It was an opportunity. Obviously, it's again self-serving, but you could say, I'm not doing it yet. I'm not afraid of it. But there are so many people who are more desperately in need of this medicine. And if they get it today, you could say, what a great Christmas gift for this, guy who fought at the Battle of the Bulge, and his name is Jim, and look at him, the guy in my district, and he's getting it. And isn't that a wonderful thing? They're showing some, there's some video of senior citizens in nursing homes, obviously. I mean, if you're in New York, it's a split screen, so Andrew Cuomo could take credit for it. But there are senior citizens getting the vaccine, but they're waiting until after AOC and Ed Markey and Marco Rubio get it, which is utter madness. And I don't know why that doesn't just infuriate everybody.
But you tweeted out an article, was that last night or over the weekend, about Sununu saying this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, that would be fantastic if they offered Sununu the vaccine and he said, nope, I am way in the back of the line here. Like, somebody should come out and be that guy today.
That's the governor of New Hampshire who said the right things.
Yeah.
And again, I don't even care if you mean it. You're talking about optics here, and they're pretending it's a good optic to have a 31-year-old thin, healthy woman getting a vaccine for something that wouldn't affect her at all. I mean, even if she got the virus, she would she might not even know it. And if she knew it, it would be the flu and she'd be fine. It's not a threat to her. So why is it a good optic if a 31-year-old person who is at no risk at all is getting the vaccine ahead of somebody who will die? I mean, let's be honest. We're talking about time. There are people who will die as a result of these hacks in Washington getting the vaccine before others. I mean, I don't know the number. It might be one person, but someone will die because they couldn't get vaccinated because they were busy vaccinating AOC and Marco Rubio.
You think so? I mean,
yeah. It's common sense. I'm not saying.
I think okay. I'll do B. Bremer from Jerry. If AOC can inspire, she has a huge influence on social media. If she can inspire just 10 people to go out and do it, they could potentially save lives, Jerry. So think about that.
Okay, good point, Reamer. Let's get to this because I mentioned her sending out this message to her 8 million Instagram followers, and how important the vaccine is. You tell me. You're on the fence. Just pretend you're on the fence here, Turtleboy, that you're considering the vaccine. Maybe not. I mean, I'll get it. I'm not one of these weirdos that thinks I don't trust the government or whatever. But I'll wait my turn, and I'll wait till all the people in the assisted living facility around the corner from my house that haven't left their rooms in 10 months. I'll wait till they go, and then I'll get my turn. But I'm not a big science guy, but AOC is. She understands what a vaccine is and how it works. So I will defer to her, and she will explain to you, Turtleboy, and to me, what a vaccine is and why we should get it. Let's hear from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
COVID, it gives you basically the COVID blueprint so that your body learns how to fight it. So how does that work? Well, you ever see like these COVID spikes, like the little photos of COVID, and it's like this little cell with all these spikes around it? Those little spikes are how COVID gets into your body and kind of infiltrates your system. It's the spike that's really dangerous. So when COVID cells are replicating themselves, they have to follow instructions, and the instructions are coded into the cell's mRNA, and that's what tells a COVID cell to split up and become another COVID cell and get a spike.
She's got 2 more minutes of that. I mean, it's just I don't know why her followers need to hear that nonsense.
That's what a vaccine is. Did you know that, Turtleboy?
Yeah, I mean, if she was my teacher, I would literally kill myself. I couldn't hear. She talks like she thinks she's like a science teacher or something. If I had to hear that voice all day, I would go insane.
By the way, the snoring dog is getting more publicity than the freaking actual content that she's trying.
Does the dog actually appear on camera? The dog?
Yes, I have the dog. You want to see the dog?
Also, that random snoring that you might have heard is this guy. So that's what that is.
Figures. French bulldog, they're everywhere, and the beautiful people love their French bulldogs, and they're like accessories. They're props. Look at me, I have a French bulldog. So the bulldog was snoring when we were getting that lesson in vaccines from AOC.
Yes.
Proud BU economics grad and absolute dummy. She got the vaccine, and does she realize how unaffected she would be by coronavirus?
No, I think she's ever thought about that. I don't think she follows Jordan Schachtel on Twitter, Jerry. I don't think or she reads anything that's outside of her own bubble. In her mind, probably you get coronavirus, you're dead.
You die, right? You die. That's that's so right. When you think about her as an example, she's the worst example because she probably believes all the misinformation that we've heard or been told for 10 months that, if she gets the virus, she'll die. If she wears a mask, she'll live, that kind of thing. And so she did that. How long was that video, by the way, Dave? Because it just goes, she babbles on and on about what a vaccine is.
That was about a 2-minute and 35-second Instagram story. Yeah, it was pretty long.
Instagram story. Well, I don't know. I was on the fence, but now I'm in because, she convinced me. And it's good to know that she's safe. And by the way, I don't care if it's Democrats. Obviously, Liz Warren and Ed Markey got the vaccine, I think, on Friday. And I tweeted out the two least essential people on the planet. The idea that Ed Markey, and I realize he's old, but Ed Markey should be ahead of anybody. Think of all the cops and firemen and grocery store workers and mailmen who had never missed work or have never, shut down. They have to wait while Ed Markey gets a friggin' injection.
You're right. He is probably the least essential person in the United States Senate. Like he can't even get things done on his own side. He's the one that co-sponsored the Green New Deal and then voted against it. 57-0. Like he couldn't get a single vote for his. Talk about effect, like completely useless. He's not even useful for liberals. What did he do?
I think of that every time I go to like CVS or go to Star Market. I'm thinking these people showed up. They didn't say, "Oh, I can't go to work." And some of them are older, and some of them are overweight, and they're risky. It's a risk, and they show up at work, and they have to wait for Ed Markey. It's just so bizarre. Why are people irate about this? Is it all just politics?
Why are people irate that their schools aren't open? Why aren't people irate that they literally shut down a $20 trillion economy for 10 months because of a virus with a 99.9% survival rate? Why aren't people upset about that? Because they're stupid. We deserve this. We're a horrible country filled with horrible people. And one good thing about this is it has increase the need for a healthy divorce. Like, we don't have to fight. We don't have to go to war, but clearly this bridge can never be divided. If half the country believes that we can just shut everything down forever, like, that's a problem. I don't want to live in the same country as those people.
It is remarkably discouraging. Like I've talked about this the other day. I talked about it with my man Buck Sexton the other day, and the level of compliance, the level of submission is scary when you think of people who just say, "Oh, shut the schools. Okay, we'll be safe. Shut the restaurants, ruin businesses, voluntarily destroy the economy, the greatest economy in the world, voluntarily destroy it for a disease that has 99.8% survival rate," is so insane and so bizarre on its face that when we look back 20, 30, 50 years, people aren't going to believe what we did. They're not going to believe the things they shut down schools, and these more kids are dying from suicide than from coronavirus.
Yes.
People are like, yeah, but we got to be safe. Let's be safe. And they're, doing it all over the place. They're doing it in Europe and England. They're like not letting people leave London now.
And every study you've seen from this has shown, like, in schools, that minority children are disproportionately suffering from this. So it's hurting the poor, it's hurting minorities. It is failure rates are off the charts in some of these schools. And if I'm a parent of a kid who's like struggling, how do you accept that? Like, my kid's failing. How do you not sue? Like, my kid would not be failing if he was in school and actually had a teacher, because he's shy and he's unlikely to, stand. I mean, I had kids like that in class that are like, a lot of kids just like to blend in. And when you're on them, when you have them in class, Jerry, you can see who's not paying attention. Who's not listening to you. You can walk down the row, tap on their desk, and get on them about that. Wake them up, do something. You can't do that in the Zoom. So these kids that are likely to get lost will get more lost with remote learning.
And how about special needs kids? I mean, I talk about this all the time. That you hear or read about these families with special needs kids who are incapable of doing remote learning, who aren't going to sit. It's like asking them to sit in front of a screen for 3-4 hours. It's not working. It's not working for these families, and they're going through hell. And it's just because of, as you point out, cowardly politicians and dishonest teachers unions that these schools are remaining closed. And some people aren't upset about it at all. They just say, well, it's better safe than sorry. It's like when you see the approval ratings of tyrants like Charlie Baker, who, by the way, every day makes up another story about pretend friends who have the virus. That's his thing. As Howie Carr's pointed out, every day he's telling stories about, how it's personally affecting him, because it's, he's got friends who are getting the disease and some are dying. And he's just making it up because that's what he does.
He knows people that died of coronavirus.
I want to mention one more thing about AOC, which is the good. If you're not a complete lunatic liberal, like radical socialist, this is good news for you. She lost a seat on the Energy and Commerce Committee, which she was hoping to get on so she could, push the Green New Deal. They had a vote. Kathleen Rice, another New York congresswoman, beat her 46-13 in the vote. The people in Congress don't like AOC. She's the biggest star there, but they don't like her. And
like Nancy Pelosi said, there's like 4 of them, Jerry.
Right.
There's like 4 of them.
Well,
that's what she thinks of you. There's like 4 of them.
And I'm represented by one, Ayanna Pressley Ringo, the least renowned of the squad, who is just the worst. And I think she's trying to, raise her profile and get even crazier. But you mentioned the insanity that people the things that people aren't getting upset about, like schools closing. How about this new stimulus bill that they voted on finally, and they're giving people $600? And all you need to know about this thing is, it is, I think the number is 20% of the money. I'll get the number. 20% of the total is going to people in these $600 payments. So where's the other 80% going? As once again, last time we had this stimulus bill, whatever that was, 8 months ago, it was the Kennedy Center, right? And Harvard and Princeton and all these special interests, the Kennedy, whatever, the institute where they have like opera, ballet. Now, $82 billion of the stimulus package is going to colleges and universities. And I was tweeting about this last night going, is there a less deserving place for this money to go than colleges and universities
they don't have enough money. They don't have enough money.
They are flush with cash, first of all. And secondly, they haven't even done their job. And we know they're like, people are paying the full tuition and not even going to classes, and they're canceling everything. And yet the money's still pouring in. And yet some people decided to include colleges and universities in this stimulus package and give people $600. So if you have a restaurant that's about to go under, or a small business, a gym or whatever, you're going to get $600 from Big Daddy government. And the college down the street, which is expanding and building new labs and libraries and dorms, and they're going to get 82 billion. So
I was just going to ask you, they haven't even announced what potential relief there'll be for restaurants, right? They haven't even said that yet, I don't think.
Well, I think of restaurant, the $600 that people get. If you're a waitress, a waiter, or a bartender just hanging on, or a manager, is this going to help you? Like say, oh, good, I'll stay. I'll wait for them to open up. They're going to be gone. Every waitress and bartender is already working at Amazon. They've already given up. Don't you think?
I would assume so at this point, wouldn't you? I mean, you can't make much in tips anymore if the restaurant is a quarter filled. And by the way, if you're going to go out to a restaurant, I've seen some people complain about this. Like a lot of restaurants are now adding like PPE taxes to their bills. And I've seen some people complain about this. Like it just shows up as like $4 extra. And like, what's this all about? I'm sorry, guys. If you're going out to restaurants at this point, don't be mad at the restaurant owners because they're charging you an extra tax to make ends meet. You're going out during this. You should be happy. I'll graciously pay a $4 tax to be able to go out to eat. Stop blaming it on the restaurants. They're doing it. Blame your governor and your local government who has crippled these people to the point where they have no choice but to charge you a $4 tax to eat at the restaurant.
Here's the number, $900 billion, and you get $600 checks to people. It includes $284 billion for small business aid. That means like TB12 and Harvard will continue to get some money, and $82 billion for schools and colleges. Unknown amount for climate change. The total that goes in those $600 checks is $200 billion. So the package is $900 billion, and the total of the $600 individual payments is 220. That's 22% goes to people. The rest goes to, and some to small business, which is wonderful. $82 billion to schools and colleges, and an unknown amount to climate change. You know this is a racket scheme. You know this is nothing on the level. Nothing is ever on the level. It is amazing. And now you get Congress people who never missed a day of never missed a paycheck, never missed the day without benefits. These pigs turn around like Nancy Pelosi and say, we finally get pass the bill for the people. They get $600. You know what? That wouldn't even buy you an entree at French Laundry, where Gavin Newsom went. That's probably about what it cost for Nancy Pelosi to get her hair done when she shut down all the salons, or get her face done when she.
By the way, did you see that headline over the weekend? The French Laundry received 17 times more PPE than the average restaurant in San Francisco.
That is unbelievable. The French Laundry got
like $2.5 million.
Taxpayer money. It's so friggin' obscene, but it's what we voted for. It's what we get. It's such a disturbing time. And by the way, see what Dr. Birx did? She got caught. That phony, the scarf lady. She went. She told everyone to stay home for Thanksgiving. She went to one of her vacation homes in Delaware. One of her vacation homes. A career bureaucrat has multiple vacation homes with 3 generations. Children, grandchildren, grandparents all went to Delaware for vacation right after telling you must stay home. So anybody who stays home for Christmas because a politician or a bureaucrat told them to, I have no sympathy. Go do whatever you want for Christmas. I mean, you can't go to a restaurant, or you can't go to church, but you can certainly visit your relatives.
We had to get a appointment at church, Jerry, for Christmas Day. Our family made it.
You made your appointment?
You have to. It's by appointment only. You have to get a reservation for church.
Wow.
We're having 5 masses instead of 2.
So what time did you get? What did you get? Midnight mass? What time did you get?
I got the 4:00, and so we got our reservations
on Christmas Eve, I assume.
We got a big group, 13. I don't know if they're going to separate us.
Wow, you have 13. That's against the law. You shouldn't admit that on the show here.
They can't sing, right? They can't sing, right?
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
No,
what are you doing there? Can't you just why don't you just all get on a Zoom and screen share something on YouTube? Like what's
the host? The body of Christ comes in a brown paper bag. You pick it up on the way out with the shot of wine, the shot of the blood, and you just have a good time. And there's no contact with the priests. Luckily for the young boys of the Boston diocese.
One thing I think would be great is that you no longer have to shake hands. Like you don't have to worry. Do I turn around? Do I shake hands with the guy behind me?
Like, do I do it? You're right here, so I guess I'll do you. What about you in front of me?
And the person in front of you said, "Don't turn around, please. I don't want to shake your hand." But you don't do any of that. And Dave's right. You can't sing. Singing is deadly. I've heard that. Dr. Birx said so. So you just like hum "Joy to the World" at the end of the mass, right?
There was a big opinion piece on it in the New York Times, like how churches are surviving without being able to sing right now.
Get ready. You're gonna hum your Christmas carols as you leave church. But that's the way it is. Did you get your kids guns? I hope toy guns.
That's Nerf guns, correct?
Nerf guns, excellent.
We don't have that communist Santa.
I bet you the Nerf gun sales went through the roof. But all right, I'm going to mention Shea Concrete and then 1 or 2 more things before we wrap this sucker up. We're still on Facebook Live if you want to comment or watch. Not for long, though. Get ready. Not for long. I want to mention this about Shea Concrete, first of all. They can do that. How about this for Christmas? A precast concrete building. They can build you a building. They are the best in the business at this. All right. I know Turtleboy does not care about this because, he hates golf. He hates golf. Well, I don't hate golf. I love golf. But you know what I do hate? Charlie Woods. I hate Charlie Woods.
Go off.
11. I hate 11-year-olds who are better than I am, that would absolutely embarrass me. And Charlie Woods is going to be spectacular. He's already got the game, and he's already cocky, and he's learning from the best, his father. And I realize, Tiger's probably not the best father, but he's probably a damn good coach and good example for this kid on the golf course. You know what I wondered watching this though? Did you see any of it, Cullinane? Because
I did. I watched a ton of it over the weekend. Yeah.
It's not fair, is it? I mean, Tiger has his partner as an 11-year-old kid. Justin Thomas's partner is like his father, who's a really good golfer and a golf coach teacher who taught Justin. So if the pro is the kid and the father's a good golfer, don't they have a real big advantage over an 11-year-old, even if it's Tiger's kid?
I don't think winning this is actually the purpose of the entire thing. I think it's just to go out, have fun, show it on TV. I think, yes, it's an advantage, but I don't think it's that.
I mean, I hate all the kids when you see the kids come out. Who's the one who had a
There's so many clips already from this that they're just going to love.
Yeah.
I hate the kids.
My theory on golf, Turtleboy, I don't know if I've ever shared it with you, is you should be just like alcohol. You should have to be 21 to play. Then you should be no kids on the golf course. They just get in the way. When I see a kid on the golf course, I say that kid should be like home, like climbing a tree or, playing street hockey. That's
why do kids golfing bother you? I don't get it.
Because they get in the way. I just explained.
They're slow and they suck. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Jared, elderly people golf too, right?
That's okay. You know why? Because that's all they got. When you get to be my age, all you got is golf, right?
But you're fast.
These kids could be playing street hockey. They could be playing basketball or touch football or tackle football. They could be doing things the kids are supposed to do.
The first word that comes to mind is nimble, Jerry. You're very you get out there. You're real quick. What are you talking about? 80-year-old people slow you down more than anything.
Okay,
do, but they've earned their right.
I'm talking to this wall right here. Okay, 80-year-old people don't have a choice. All they can play is golf. 11-year-olds can do anything. They could play.
They got bridge,
football, street hockey. They could climb trees. They could play. They could play army. That's what they're supposed to be doing.
Jerry, old people, 80-year-olds
playing army.
Jerry, 80-year-olds are supposed to stand in the YMCA locker room naked for 8 hours a day, talking about local politics, cover themselves in baby powder. That's what the elderly are supposed to do, not golf.
They could do that too. You're right. They could.
Why don't they ever put on a towel?
I tell people.
They just put a towel on.
I tell people this all the time. When I was like in high school, I don't know what it was like for you, but we used to make fun of the golfers and the cross-country runners. And now that's all I can do. I run and I golf, and those guys that we made fun of are laughing at me because they're kicking my ass in those two sports. You're a runner. People like you probably took some abuse from like the football players, made fun of the cross-country runners. Well, now the cross-country runners are kicking the football players' ass in these 5Ks, which, someday we'll get to do them again. Or in golf, you made fun of the golfers, and now those same people are kicking my ass and laughing at me. So it's come full circle. I just think, Charlie Woods over the weekend, he has a guy caddying for him. He's 11 years old, and he's got a caddy. And I'm thinking, how spoiled can you get? He's already won a couple of tournaments, by the way. He is a force to be reckoned with. And again,
I actually think too, the biggest takeaway I had from the weekend, just learning the fact that Tiger Woods is your father sets you up for complete failure and for you to be a absolute junkie of a human individual growing up. But his relationship, like Justin Thomas, is basically his mentor and a family-like figure.
Right.
If that stays, this kid could be an absolute juggernaut.
I'm only kidding, obviously, about hating him. It was great to watch. Tiger has completely rehabilitated himself, his image, and I'm okay with that because he paid a big price. He was a laughingstock for a long time. People know what kind of degenerate he was. You can't look at him even to this day without thinking of the Perkins waitress that he was banging in the parking lot. He hit rock bottom, and the whole world got to see it. I don't feel like he got away with anything. Everyone knows he was a terrible husband, a terrible father for a while, and he's in the public eye. He's done everything he could to rehabilitate himself. Hell, he even has a girlfriend who's not exactly a PGA Tour wife, if you know what I mean. Not exactly Pauline Gretzky, just a plain Jane type, which is nice.
I haven't seen her.
She's real small. It's probably true love, but
I'll probably be loyal to her then.
And right. And I think he appears to be a good father now, He obviously wasn't back then, but he appears to be a good father now. And it was nice to see the two of them have that moment, even though they had no chance to win. None. There's too many good golfers with, adult sons who are good, really good golfers, or fathers in Justin Thomas's case who are really good golfers. But he'll be back next year. This was their first time trying it. The kid will be 12, and then he'll be 13, I'm pretty sure, and then he'll be 14. When he's like 18 and Tiger is 50, they're going to be unstoppable. But
first of all, though, Tiger didn't do shit to repair his image. He just showed up, and he was the only entertaining, factor on the tour. You know what I mean?
He has to do the press conferences and the interviews. Like, he doesn't shy away from them, and he doesn't hide. It's impossible to hide, on the course. But off the course,
can I time out? What was wrong with Tiger Woods' image?
Well, you knew what kind of degenerate he was. You found out that he was literally going to Perkins with his wife and being waited on by the woman that he was occasionally banging in the car in the parking lot.
Professional athlete, Jerry. They're all doing it. That's surprising. A professional athlete cheats on his wife. Like, you have to repair that image. I don't get.
He's not a global phenom. Got caught doing all that.
And he was doing videos with his wife and kids saying how they're boring. They just like to stay home and watch movies and eat popcorn.
Yeah.
and then you heard the whole story.
He have to rehab his image after he got caught cheating on Iggy Azalea. I mean, who cares? Why do you need to repair your image?
Here's why it was nice to see. Because Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer ever. Just an incredible, incredible competitor. He had terrible parents. If you've read anything about this family, his parents were terrible people. The unauthorized biography that came out 2 years ago, I believe, was great. It's a great read, even if you don't like golf. It's a great read because it told you, it brought the complete picture of Tiger, good and bad. I mean, it was a balanced picture, and his parents came out looking the worst because they would have a coach when he was young, when he was like Charlie's age. He'd have a teacher, a golf coach, and the guy would be great for him. And they would stiff him. They wouldn't even pay him. They'd say, he's lucky we let him coach our son. They would stiff people left and right. Tiger had a girlfriend, and they didn't approve of it in Stanford. Apparently, she was a very nice person. And he was afraid because they didn't approve of him having a girlfriend. They wanted him to focus on golf. They're just awful people, his mother and his father. And they drove him to be the greatest golfer ever, but they were not good parents. Tiger apparently, maybe he learned, maybe he's not going to make the same mistakes now that they made or that he made. And he appeared to be having a great time with his son over the weekend. You should have watched it, Turtleboy.
I'll pass. Thank you.
It was more entertaining than the Patriots-Dolphins game, I can tell you that.
There's other games besides the Patriots and Dolphins, Jerry.
Charlie Woods was better than Cam Newton. That's how bad Cam Newton was. An 11-year-old kid outperformed him this weekend. And
I was better on the Turtleboy live show this weekend than Cam Newton was.
It's true. It is amazing. I've said this before, but when you're watching Red Zone, as you were and I was, the NFL has got one thing going for it. They got some great young QBs, some entertaining young quarterbacks, like Kyler Murray put on a show, threw for 400 yards, and we know Josh Allen has been spectacular, and Patrick Mahomes, when he's done, will probably be, the greatest ever if he can keep this up. And then you get the Patriots, who have this broken down former MVP with funny hats and no hope for getting a guy in the draft. It's just. The
Chiefs are going to be good for so long, Jerry. They're going to be good for so long. It's going to be a problem.
But you got lucky, Turtleboy, because the Jets don't even know how to suck right, and they're not getting Trevor Lawrence. They only have a 26% chance, according to Nate Silver or somebody, whoever makes these odds. They have a 26% chance of getting Trevor Lawrence.
The year after Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, the Patriots went 9-7. The Chiefs are about to go 15-1.
It is remarkable. I know, and they get tested yesterday. That was a good game, good test, and he's too good. Mahomes is too good. He's got great weapons, great speed. It's the other thing when you watch like the Patriots.
great instincts. Like he's like for a young quarterback, he knows when to get rid of the ball. That's one of the hardest things to do in football is learn when to get rid of the ball, how to avoid a sack. That's what made Tom Brady's career so long is he knew when to get rid of the ball at the right time. Like people like Matt Ryan have never learned that. And that's why they'll never take that next step. Patrick Mahomes already has that at such a young age.
That's a great point because he had one run that was like 30 yards. And I'm watching him saying he could do that all the time if he wanted to, but he knows it's bad. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, he knows.
He can't afford to get popped and get hurt. So when he runs, you go, boy, he's pretty fast. He's pretty elusive, but he's smart enough to know that's a bad idea. Like I think Kyler Murray's going to learn that. He runs all the time, and you're saying, not the greatest move if you want to last in this league. And a guy like, Baker Mayfield is learning that. You don't run the ball if you're quarterback, even if there's open space, you got to be careful because you want to last. And that's the other thing with Josh Allen. He likes to run the ball. He likes to get hit. That's not a good mindset for an NFL quarterback. He's great. I love watching him play, and he's big and he's strong and he's tough as hell. But it doesn't matter. You can only get hit so many times. You're right.
Who's the best quarterback in that draft, Jerry? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Baker Mayfield?
That would be Josh Allen. That would be.
I would think so too. I'd rather build my team around him than any of those guys.
I mean, and he can just make any throw, and once he gets smarter, he's going to get better. He's got this.
He's a runner too, but he can get away with it because he's huge. He's like Roethlisberger, like that size.
That's true. It's a good comp. He's the best of those three. I don't know. Yes, I would say clearly.
He's the franchise around. I would pick Josh Allen.
Like I said, he'll finish third in the MVP balloting. When I tweeted out that Trevor Lawrence would be the best quarterback in the AFC East for 15 years if the Jets got him, one after another, people saying, "No, Josh Allen, is in this division, and I'm like, "Oh, he's great, but Trevor Lawrence is going to be better. Trevor Lawrence is going to be."
It's not a guarantee, but it's likely. It's definitely likely.
I mean, I know, of course, it's not guaranteed, and maybe if he were to go to New York, they would screw him up. The way they screwed up.
Yeah, the wrong coach could screw you up. The right weapons can screw you up. A lot can go wrong.
But I'd still like to see him in New York just to see. That'd be great drama. And love to see them try to bring Dabo with them, which he wouldn't do, but they would try because someone's going to get the chance to coach Trevor. And apparently it's not going to be in New York, at least not today, but we'll see. All right, Turtleboy TB Daily News is the website. I know you're continuing to bust Corona Bros, bust hypocrites in there was one story that went viral, and I said this had to be you. Didn't you get mentioned over the weekend? Didn't you? One of your stories,
the Gina Raimondo story out of Rhode Island.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. You want to read about the Rhode Island governor, the hypocrite, another one of the hypocrites, and they don't even. There's no shame, like there's no apology. You got me kind of thing. It's like they rationalize it. They lie about it. It's also, did you have the Rhode Island city councilman who had to resign after making fun of a transgender activist?
Oh, no, I didn't see that one.
Yes, it's the Blaze has it here. He used the wrong pronouns. I'm sorry. He didn't mock the transgender activist. He used the wrong pronouns. And now he's being forced to resign. And I'm all for that. That's disgraceful. That's disgusting. But he did it. He said he, and the person identifies as a woman. So he had to get that right. Why don't you get on that? Expand on that story.
I'll look into that.
All right, Turtleboy. Thanks, man. We will talk. If we don't talk to you, have a nice Christmas. Merry Christmas. And don't forget, get the kids guns. Real ones.
Will do.
All right. Thanks, man. By the way, we should get into this another day. Hempstead, New York is offering a gun buyback program for toy guns. The town of Hempstead, New York. They want people to bring their toy guns to the police to get.
Do you know how many Nerf guns people have? Like people.
I know. Think of that. Go through your cellar, grab a bunch of old toy guns, and cash in. That's what's going to happen.
Sure, why not?
It's not going to help anything. It's just going to allow some people to make some money. But all right, thanks to Shea Concrete and Allied Paving and DCU. Anyone else, Cullinane?
No, that's all. Just another reminder. So go subscribe on Apple Podcasts. I know I do it a lot, but subscribe because Facebook Live is We don't know if it's long term, but it is certainly going away in the short term. So go subscribe.
Yes, and we will have a big announcement. We're going to be here for a couple more days this week, and we'll have a big announcement. We'll get to that tomorrow or Wednesday. Big show announcement, and I mean a good one, not like we used to do on the radio, piss people off. I remember one day our producers said we had a big announcement to get to at whatever, like 9 o'clock on the later in the show, and it was that we were going to fly private to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
People love that big announcement. We're going to.
Now, were you a part of that planning? Of that?
No, I was not. I'm like, what's the big announcement? We're going to fly on a private jet. I'm like, oh boy, the listeners are so happy to hear that. Or it'd be like, oh, we got one of the producers got a raise, and be like, oh wow. But this is going to be good for the show, good for us, good for you, good for everybody. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. That's all I could say.
And we'll help people too, by the way, because we do have a ton of people who watch on Facebook. So we'll get, if you want to reach out to us, message us on Facebook, message us on Twitter, wherever you need to. We'll help you if you need help getting access to the subscribe on whatever platform you potentially use, because he uses different things. So we'll help you along.
Cullinane's not good for much, but he's good for this. He's good at this. So if you reach out to him, he'll help you. And by the way, you know what else we should do is read some of the reviews.
Yes.
So people want to review on Apple. We'll read some good ones and bad ones. If you give us a 5-star review, we'll read that. And even if you don't, because we need you to go there. We need you to subscribe. That's what this is all about. And we really, really appreciate it. All right. That's it. I'm Jerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Podcast, and we will do it again tomorrow.